DMX is an East Coast rapper, best known for hits such as Ruff Ryders Anthem, X Gon' Give It To Ya, and Slippin. Earl Simmons was born in Baltimore, Maryland, on December the 18th, 1970. His family moved to Yonkers, New York, where he spent the bulk of his childhood. Earl grew up in a single-parent home, as his father left when he was young. His mother was just 19 when she had him. Sadly, he grew up in an abusive home, enduring a lot of violence and eventually getting put into the system, as his mother lost custody of him. He spent time in group homes and ended up living on the streets. Doing whatever he could to survive, he was in and out of prison throughout his teens. Not only did he have many violent confrontations on the streets, he began using drugs and alcohol and developed addiction struggles that would plague him for many years to come. Earl began making music, which he said saved his life. He first started off as a DJ and a beatboxer, then moved on to rap, writing rhymes and entering freestyle competitions. He met local rapper Renie, who had great respect for X. He was impressed by his beatboxing skills. They became business partners, and Earl Simmons became DMX. Inspired by his beatboxing talent, the name was based on an instrument, the overcame DMX drum machine. Later on, some would call him Dark Man X. DMX began to get attention from the media as an up-and-coming rapper. Source magazine did a feature on him in their unsigned Hype column. Then he had the opportunity that would change his life forever. In 1992, he got his first deal, signing to Ruff House, a subsidiary of Columbia Records. He released his first single, Born Loser, soon after. It didn't do as well as he had hoped, due to it being under-promoted. Then he lost his record deal. This was the first setback in his career, but his talent spoke for itself, and it wouldn't be long before he bounced back. 2 years later, he released his second single, but faced legal issues, getting arrested for drug possession. He finally got it together in the mid to late 90s, featuring on songs with other artists such as LL Cool J and Mace. His debut album sold 251,000 copies in its first week. It went on to sell over 5 million copies to date. The follow-up album, And Then There Was X, released in 1999, was his greatest selling album of all time. It reached the top spot on the Billboard 200 and went 6 times platinum. DMX went on to release 7 albums. There hasn't been an album from him since 2012. In total, he has sold 70 million albums worldwide. He has been nominated for 3 Grammys and 5 MTV Video Music Awards. He won 2 AMAs, one in 2000 and the other the following year, for favourite rap hip-hop artists. DMX is also an actor, starring in 8 movies to date, as well as several direct-to-DVD films, and fans love to see him do cameos. In 1999, at the height of his success, DMX married to Shira Simmons. They had known each other since childhood and had been together from a very young age. The couple went on to have 4 children together, and the marriage lasted around 14 years. They announced their separation in 2010. Issues in their marriage were highlighted in the reality show Couples Rehab. X blurted out on the show that he never wanted to get married. Shira had been disrespected repeatedly throughout the marriage, yet she stayed and was a true definition of a ride or die.
He know he hasn't been doing me and the kids right at all, and he's kept me humble for a very long time, but I'm tired. I realize as I keep growing that I have to live for me and my kids.
Many believed she would never leave, but she did eventually file for divorce. Speaking of the mistakes she made, she said, "To be honest with you, I'm not perfect, but overall, when I look back, I wouldn't change a thing. As far as when you say mistakes in our marriage, I know that the mistake I made as a woman was that I sacrificed too much of myself in that relationship. I just felt like it went unnoticed. But I would do it again, because me and X started when we were 18 years old. So it's really like we have 24 years together. I learned so much from my journey with him, so I wouldn't change that. I'm definitely open to dating and new beginnings. I just feel that next time I will definitely know my self-worth, and I would never sacrifice so much of myself again. I was so young. X and I met when we were 11. I didn't know anything else. But as a grown woman now, shame on me if I ever do that again. The couple did not officially divorce until 2014. While he was married, DMX fathered 6 children with other women and was allegedly unfaithful throughout the marriage. For one child, he was ordered to pay $1.5 million after a DNA test confirmed that he was the father. And so began the drama surrounding child support that would see him go broke and even end up in jail. In total, DMX has 15 children. The youngest was born in 2016. He also struggled with addiction for over 14 years, an issue that can easily cause a person to go broke, as well as affect their physical and emotional well-being. From the age of 14, he became addicted to hard drugs and suffered from mental health problems, allegedly living with bipolar disorder. In 2013, he appeared on Fix My Life with Iyanla Vanzant's. This was after he had pretty much lost everything, his wife, his wealth, to name a few. It was quite a difficult episode for fans to watch. DMX seemed uncooperative at times, and one of his sons was also brought on. It was heartbreaking to see the trail of destruction addiction leaves, not just for the addict, but their family members, and it is particularly hard on the children. DMX ended up storming off, and there didn't seem to be a resolution. It was quite scary because many feared he would end up being another celebrity, losing their life to drugs.
Ladies, shut up, man. I'm talking about, no, listen, man. Listen, man, I'm not going for this.
In the same year, he also went bankrupt, filing for bankruptcy in a Manhattan court. At the time, he stated that his assets amounted to $50,000, but his debts to creditors was between $1 to $10 million. This included the $1.24 million in child support. He stated that the child support had to be prioritized over his debts. In a statement, his attorney explained that the debts prevented him from getting a passport, preventing him from performing overseas. One of the biggest streams of income for many artists of the 90s is performing overseas. He was unable to travel and perform and earn the money that would help him pay his creditors and his child support. He sought to restructure his debts and come up with some sort of payment plan. He still had a huge fan base all over the world, so the restrictions were seriously limiting his earning potential. Unfortunately, the filing was challenged and dismissed. At the time, many fans thought that he just couldn't catch a break, but a lot of his problems seemed to be self-inflicted, so some had no sympathy for him at all. In 2016, DMX was found unresponsive in a Ramada Inn parking lot in Yonkers. Paramedics resuscitated him, and reporters were told by police that he was given Narcan, medication used to treat those who have overdosed from narcotics. No illegal substances were found on the property. However, a witness said DMX ingested some type of substance before collapsing. DMX said that the incident was actually caused by an asthma attack. The following year, he was charged with 14 counts of tax fraud, amounting to a total of $1.7 million. In 2018, he was sentenced to a year in prison for tax evasion. Fans were no stranger to certain 90s stars facing legal troubles for tax evasion and also spending time in prison as a result. Last year in 2019, he was released from prison and was welcomed back by fans, as well as those who made light of his situation. At the time, he still owed $2.3 million to the IRS. Anything he earns first goes to the government until the debt is paid. He is allowed to pay it in monthly installments, not to mention his child support that still has to be paid for every child who is under 18. So, as of 2020, his net worth is reportedly negative $1 million. This is according to Celebrity Net Worth. But because his debts were previously reported to be up to $10 million, some reports say that his net worth is actually negative $10 million. Considering his album sales in excess of $70 million, this is pretty tragic. However, DMX is now clean and appears to be overcoming his troubles and generally in a better place. We got to see him put on a display of unity with West Coast rapper Snoop Dogg for their versus battle, one of the most successful versus battles to date, with 1.4 million viewers tuning in. He and Snoop received 1.75 billion impressions across the internet and broke Apple Music's all-time live stream record with more than 600,000 concurrent viewers. No doubt, this would have helped DMX make more money and introduce his music to more fans. He does look a lot different from his heyday, but he is clean and free from the effects of addiction. And most importantly, he is alive. It could have easily been a different story. He even said last year that he wants to return to Iyanla Fix My Life, hoping for a better outcome this time. So hopefully, he will continue to avoid his past self-destructive ways and look after his health, because you can't put a price on that. What song do you best remember DMX for? Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below. Rate, comment and subscribe for weekly videos. And don't forget to click the bell for more.